So I'm going to wait another minute, but while we're waiting, I just want to say to everyone who's joining, all the parents, thank you very much for your interest in soccer. Thank you for joining this call. The people on the board, some who will undoubtedly be part of this, who will be on this Zoom call. We work really hard to make things seem easy for you, or at least we hope they're easy for you. So with that, let's just jump right into this. This is the Piscataway Soccer Club parent meeting. It's intended for travel players and parents. And by travel, I mean teams that play in Mid-New Jersey, Youth Soccer Association League, teams that play in the Suburban Youth Soccer League, and also our some of our futures teams, which are new. So let me get to, here's the agenda for tonight. We do have a lot to talk about, and so I'm going to press through this. But again, we have teams that play in Mid-New Jersey, Suburban, we have recreation programs, we have top soccer programs, we have futures programs. So if there are any parents who are part of recreation, top soccer, or futures, this is not intended directly for you, but there are pieces in this meeting which you can glean some information. So please stay on. Is Jeff Sundeloff on, perchance?
Yeah, I'm on, Chuck. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my video working here.
Okay. I'm going to do this slide, and you can do two more slides in front of this. Piscataway Soccer Club this fall has 20 travel teams in place. And by travel, I mean teams that play in Mid-New Jersey League, and also other teams that play in the Suburban Youth Soccer League. So we're really excited. This is a jump for us. We think we're ready. Maybe a league isn't ready, but we think we're ready for the fall season. So here are the teams. You should see yours if in here. The teams that are in bold are the new teams, but there are the ages and the birth years that the teams are based off of. So what I should have said in the previous slide is, because there's 8 new teams, that means about a third of all of our parents are new to travel. And so just to kind of level set us, it's a quick discussion about player passes and why we ask for pictures of your players. You typically never see these, but for the Mid-New Jersey teams, we have to create player passes, which is a card about a little bigger than a credit card, and it's got your child's picture on it. And at the beginning of every game, the referees will require your team, your coach, your team manager, your assistant coach to present all of the player passes and the coach passes to the referee, so that the referee can confirm that Lionel Messi is not playing on your team, as well as everyone else on the team is the correct age. And if they look at a picture on the player pass and it doesn't look anything like the player in front of them, then they're going to challenge the coach and say, this player can't play. So it's really important for you, the parent, to provide us with a passport style picture that we can use to put on the card. Again, you typically don't see it, but we do. And Suburban League also uses pictures. They post them directly onto the game day card. game day card that also goes to the referees for the very same reason. The referee is going to look at the picture on the piece of paper and then look at your player and say, do these match? So when you provide pictures to us and you upload them during the registration process, we ask for no hats, no masks, no sunglasses, no baby pictures or pictures of your child, past 9 months, no pictures of your pets, that type of thing, because the referees need to see your picture. And trying to get to the next slide. Game day etiquette. Parents, if you've for the parents who have been with us at games, and for all the new parents, please get there on time for the game warm-ups. So if the game is supposed to start at 2 and your coach is asking you to be there at 1:30 so that the team is all there, they can all go through the warm-ups at the same time, they can have a conversation all together. It's really important for that to happen. We're going to get to parents and players sit on the same side. There's another slide for that. But when you arrive at from your perspective, when you get to the sideline, we ask that the parents be on the left-hand side of the center line, and the players are going to be on the right-hand side of the center line with their coaches. And we'll also have additional slides to talk about, please no yelling at referees. No one likes to be yelled at, and don't yell at anybody at a game, but especially the referees. And we also request that you don't coach from the sideline. And when I say by the term coaching, I mean, please don't yell to your child to give them specific instructions. Hey, run with the ball, kick the ball, shoot the ball. Because your coach may be trying to get something else done. And in order to really show that, there is a video that tries to explain that this way.
Ever wondered why there is only one conductor assigned to an orchestra? Players must follow the conductor to create a symphony, or else it quickly begins to unravel into a noisy cacophony. That's also why there's only one head coach assigned to a soccer team. A coach will share their strategy and tactics with the players during their weekly training sessions. Then the coach will use the player's performance during the game to develop the following week's training sessions. Spectators that coach from the sidelines confuse and frustrate the players, undermine the coach, and take the fun out of the game for everyone. So if your name isn't listed on the roster as the head coach, your role is to support and cheer the efforts of the players. We all play an important part in the development of these young athletes. So by focusing on our individual roles, players, coaches, referees, and all parents can profit from the benefits afforded by this beautiful game.
And these are the state associations that support this video, including New Jersey. So thanks for that. If you have questions, talk to your coach. If your coach has questions, they can reach out to our board of directors or the head coaches that support your coach.
Chuck, if I could just add one more thing about that.
Yes.
I've experienced this. I've been coaching for a number of years, and
That's right. We're back at it here on Kaufman Corner. The conductor, Dr. Amy Giseli, one of the co-founders of Baseball Prospectus. I'm Seren Petro from Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Sorry about Thanks, Chuck. Sorry about that, everyone. But I've literally had kids come run over to me on the sideline in tears because they're so upset. And what's the problem? What's the problem? They're like, well, you're yelling at me and my parents are telling me something totally different. And for a kid, especially the younger age group, you know, 10 and under per se. You know, for them to not listen to their parents is a huge deal. So, you know, it really, really causes a big conflict for them because their coach wants them to do a certain thing. Maybe they worked on it in practice all week. You know, maybe it's throwing the ball backwards on throw-ins, and the parents telling the kid, throw it to Jimmy, just throw it to Jimmy, and Jimmy is forward, right? And the parents just, you know, it's an honest thing. And, you know, everybody does it. They want to help their child along, but you know, the way I would explain it is, you know, you don't get to stand behind your kid when they're taking a test in school and tell them what the answer is. And the game for these players is the test, right? They practice all week, and then the game is the test to see if they can show what they've learned in practice. So if you give them the answers, you know, they're not going to be able to figure it out on their own. So that's just something I wanted to add to that. So do your best. I know it's hard sometimes to you get excited in the game, but you know, do your best to just, you know, cheer and not give instruction.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jeff.
Yep.
This fall, New Jersey Youth Soccer, which is the state association for youth soccer in New Jersey, is getting ready to require that sidelines look like this, where the home team is on one side, players and parents, and the away team is on the other side, players and parents. And originally, this was put in place right after COVID in order to try to prevent the passing of COVID, but it's now being put back in place for for referee abuse. So the idea is if referees hear yelling coming from a specific side of the field, they can at least go to the coach on that side and say, Coach, you need to take care of whoever is yelling on your side of the field. And it is the coach's responsibility to then find and calm down, typically the parent, not an assistant coach, but calm that person down. By doing that, the coach is now not coaching, and that's not what we want, nor do we want yelling to begin with. So for this fall season, as you come to at least Piscataway home games, you will be asked to be on the same side as your players. Parents, again, you'll be asked to be on the left-hand side of the center line. The players and coaches will be asked to be on the right-hand side of the center line. And so thus, the players will be behind the assistant referee if there is one who's running on the sidelines. Again, this is to help referees. And leading into that, this fall also, referees who are 18 years and younger may choose to wear a yellow wristband which says minor referee. And by doing so, they are essentially saying, please don't yell at me. One, don't yell at referees, because referees do make mistakes, but our players make mistakes on the field and coaches sometimes make mistakes. We all make mistakes. Referees are allowed to do that too. And sometimes the referee isn't making a mistake. It's just that the referee is in a better position on the field to make a call, which from our position on the sidelines doesn't look like what the call was. However, so one, don't yell at the referees. Two, definitely do not yell at referees wearing a minor referee wristband. Bad things will happen to anyone who does. I'm not going to go through read the text to you, but suspension is the one word that you would want to key on. Again, we want to support all of our referees. We need referees. We actually have a referee shortage in the state of New Jersey, let alone the country. And so we're trying to retain the referees that we have. And by yelling at them, we're not helping to retain them. Having said that, Jeff, would you like to do this slide, please?
Sure. So We are looking for youth referees for our recreation program on Saturday mornings. The players have to be 12 years or older. It gives them a greater understanding of the laws of the game. They get paid $30 as a center ref, or $15 as an assistant referee, which is on the sideline. They get a free uniform and a whistle. And the youth referees will be mentored by our referee coordinator, Brian Hines. He's been reffing for a long time. He's the ref coordinator for our tournament. He gets all the referees for our tournament. So if you're interested and you have a child 12 years older that may be interested, email Brian. You see his email address there. If you're not sure or you forget, just email us and we'll get you in touch with him. But this helps our recreation program. Helps the kids have organized games, and it also helps the young referees learn to become referees. So it's equally beneficial for the players and the referees.
Yeah, this would be a win-win for everyone. Jeff, can you do the next slide too?
Sure.
I can get to it. Nope. There we go.
There you go. Also wanted are ball kids. Specifically, the Piscataway High School varsity girls soccer team is looking for volunteer ball kids. They have a new coach this year. It just came in from Cranford. His name's Dan Verdia. Really great guy. He reached out to us right away once he got in, and wants to, kind of partner with the soccer club and grow a grassroots program through us to get to him eventually. And for those that have been around the club a little while, we put an extra emphasis on our girls initiatives. So by doing that, we're trying to benefit the high school soccer program as well. So the ball kids are going to be on the sidelines during the games and assist by, chasing the balls after they go off field. If anybody's been at the high school turf field, there's a lot of chasing to be done. They should invest in some netting probably, but they haven't yet. So anyway, this enables the games to continue without a large delay, and the kids will get hopefully a t-shirt. I think Dan's still working on that, but he's hoping to have t-shirts for the ball girls for the games. So there's a sign up Genius. You go to the link below and you can sign up. I do believe there's an age. I think they want, do you remember the age, Chuck? I think it was 4th grade and up.
In that ball, yes, 4th grade and up.
Right. And just the reason for that is sometimes the younger, really younger kids get distracted, and instead of chasing soccer balls, they're doing something else. So they want them, and plus for safety reasons. So if you're interested, let us know or go to the Sign Up Genius and you can get involved that way.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yep.
And keep hitting. Sorry about that. Mike Majorsic, are you on the call? I think you are. If you could go off mute, can you talk about our tournament, please?
I think Mike's in the middle of something.
Okay. Jeff, you want to do it?
Sure. So our Piscataway Fall Classic Tournament, Saturday, September 9th and Sunday, September 10th. Games running from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. We have 219 teams participating from 34 different clubs, U8 to U14. This is our 42nd annual tournament, and it's a huge fundraiser for the club. Typically on a average year, we've been making about $50,000 for the club, which allows us to put that money towards our infrastructure. If you've seen the light towers that we use seed and fertilizer for the grass, goals, you name it. Any types of infrastructure. Also, supporting teams with coaching, with professional coaching if we can't get volunteers, so on and so forth. So that money goes right back into the club. And hopefully, eventually, we'll go into our own turf field, which has been a bucket list item for us for a long time. So we've been kind of squirreling away some money for that as well. All the PSC travel teams are asked to assist with the tournament and volunteer. I think the volunteer signups just went out. The schedule just came out. 1 adult per travel player is required to volunteer for 4 hours. and there's an online sign up for time slots. So if you didn't get it or you're not sure, you can reach out to us, but all the teams should have reached out within the last, I'd say 24 hours to get the volunteers for the tournament. And it is mandatory. It's per our bylaws. It's not something that we just made up. This has been going on for 42 years. So we're a fully volunteer run organization, and we need everybody's help to make our organization successful. There's a lot of soccer clubs, around us, and, we try and keep costs down, and we utilize our volunteers to do that. Without volunteers, you end up having to, pay for a lot more stuff. So we appreciate your support, and we're looking forward to a great event.
Yeah, and historically, we've received really good reviews for the tournament, and it's all because of the parents who help us. I mean, I know you think, 4 hours, yeah, I can do that. It's not a big deal. It is to us, because looking at the whole view, the tournament is really well run. It's one of the few tournaments that is in one location. Most tournaments, your first game is in one location, your second game is a car ride to that location. So ours is much different, and we think it's probably one of the better facilitated tournaments. It certainly is from the registration scheduling point of view. All right. A quick, hopefully this is not giving you any new information, but a quick view on some calendar events. Our tournament is the weekend after Labor Day. Travel practice has already started, but for Mid-New Jersey games, their first game will be the weekend after our tournament. Mid-New Jersey goes into November, and there is a makeup weekend, but that's around Thanksgiving, so really don't want to do that. So make sure you get your games in. Suburban League, SYSL, their first game is on Saturday of our tournament. So we don't have the schedule yet for that, but for the teams that are in the Suburban League, we're going to ask you to play away games, or you'll have to reschedule, but I will help you with that. Again, once we get the schedule. Futures, which is a new program for us for U7s and U8s, they are going to have 5 festivals, which are essentially travel. Got to travel to the festival, and those are going to be starting the end of September throughout October. Recreation, Top Soccer, they also start immediately after the tournament. And there's 2 games that we are suggesting that the club go watch. There's going to be a Piscataway Club goes to the Red Bulls Stadium on Saturday, October the 7th, and there will be a free ticket provided for your child. Details for that are going to come later. And then the following Friday after that, there's an opportunity to go watch a Rutgers men's game. So those things, look for those things on your team snap. And as of this past Monday, Piscataway Soccer Club has decided to change their training partners, and we are now partnered with Red Bulls. You've seen that if you went to any of the travel training over this past week. You've seen Max and Sergio and Brian on the field with your teams. And we're doing this as a club, and so their Red Bulls is handling all of our training for all of our programs, which includes our Mid-New Jersey teams, our suburban teams, our recreation program, our Top Soccer program, as well as our futures program. So we're really excited to make this change. It did not happen overnight. On the board, we've been talking about this for 6 months at least, if not longer. And so the decision to do this was easy at the end because of what Red Bulls offered us and their ability to provide trainers but also brand name recognition and a lot of the extra programs like a free ticket for your child to go see a game is a really great package that Red Bulls was able to bundle and provide for us. So with that said, I would like to turn it over to Jack. Jack is with Red Bull's youth program, and he's going to give us more information. Thanks, Jack.
Thank you, Chuck. Good evening, everybody. My name is Jack Bradshaw. I am the Coach Education Manager for Red Bull. I cover South Central, North and Northwest New Jersey. My primarily responsibility is on-field coach development. So you will see me and my team at the fields throughout the season, and our goal is to provide support to our coaches on a daily basis. I'm going to share my screen and go through a presentation, but before I do that, in terms of the ticket, it's a free ticket for your child with a pay-in adult. The adult ticket is also subsidized, so there is a discount associated with that, and it can be any game throughout the season. So with that said, thank you all for being on a Friday night of a holiday weekend. So we'll crack on and we'll make a start now. And then Chuck, as we go, if you could just keep an eye on the waiting room.
Sure.
Okay, so we'll begin just giving you a little bit of background of Red Bull, and our pyramid is divided in this way. So youth programs operates at 6 on the pyramid. We offer camps, clinics, club development, outreach programs, coach education. So our trainers go through 2 sets of training per week on a variety of subjects that surround youth soccer. So for example, next week, our coaches will start their opening out of their program. So all the administrative tasks that they do and all the little bits that come into that as the season progresses, they'll learn to work with partnering with parents and session planning and all the nuances that go into youth soccer. At level 6 on the pyramid, we work with around 46,000 players. And as we move up to level 5, the regional development schools, it becomes a little bit more tailored for performance. So that's around 6,000 players. And it's very similar. There are clinics and talent centers. And then briefly on the rest of the pyramid, the opportunity to play for the pre-academy, which is cost-free, the academy, which is also cost-free, and then for the select few that take the performance pathway, the second team that play in MLS Next Pro, and then our first team. We'll introduce you to the Red Print. It can be found at newyorkredbulls.com/redprint, and it's a resource for anyone that is looking for advice on formations and systems of play, ways of working with children that are maybe not in the conventional sense, but the Red Print is the place to go for all that information. In this presentation, we'll introduce the Red Print. We'll look at our approach to development. We'll look at player development and winning. And then we'll also look at game day coaching and just some of the things that go into that. So some on-field things to expect throughout the season. This is our coaching philosophy, and it's to create a fun and challenging environment where players have the opportunity to learn. All practices should be fun, and we believe that if we add challenge to that learning will take place. So if it's challenging, players will have fun. If they have fun, it creates the environment to learn. So our methodology is progressive, and it begins simplistically. So the teaching of technique and helping young players understand the game and becomes more complex in terms of making it realistic to the game. So making decisions that happen in the game, dealing with pressure that comes from different angles and things of that nature. We do it in these three ways. So inspiration, we want players to love the game. We want them to get out of the car, sprint to the fields and be sad to leave. We want them to tell us what they've watched at the weekend. Did they recently watch the Women's World Cup, or have they watched the start of the Premier League season? We want them to talk about all the transfers that happened today in Europe. We want them to be inspired and love the game. In terms of expertise on us, as I mentioned at the beginning, they are provided with, our coaches are provided with education and all sorts of resources that are aimed at improving and supporting and helping the players on the field. We do all that with repetition, and we believe in game realistic repetition. So using technique with realistic pressure, allowing players to make lots of different decisions. And the environment is player-centered. Simply put, player-centered is giving players the autonomy to make decisions, to have a say in practice, to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes. An example would be that if we have too many nets, I would ask the players, how many points do you think that goal should be? And it gives them the autonomy to do so. And it's also an environment where they're making decisions that look like the real game. So having a shot as the ball bounces up on the grass as a player chases them, or playing 1v1 with a defender around them and another defender close by. So realistic environments. This is something that your child will go through as they enter into the program. So our building blocks to player development, motor skill development are basic soccer movements that you probably see your children do on a daily basis. So speed, agility, quickness. Technique and skill development is teaching players the soccer techniques, the passing technique, receiving by opening out your hips and using your catching foot. We then move on to the stages of development. Lots of the players of the ages that your children are will begin to work on individual tactics. Individual tactics are 1v1 situations, and it's about player on the ball. So improving the player on the ball and their decisions. Group tactics is a combination of players. So to simplify it, it's the player that's on the ball, the player that's next to the ball, and the player that's around the ball. And then as players begin to get older, as we get to U12, U13, it's team tactics. So a combination of units. An example of that would be the way we defend as a team. Do we keep compact? Do we sit deep? Do we delay? So they are the stages of development, and the two at the bottom should exist in every session, irrespective of the age. Our session structure, and I think this is an important one to bear in mind if you are at the fields, to understand how coaches plan sessions or how they use sessions within our curriculum. They're built this way, so an introduction, a main activity, a condition game, a match, and then there's a debrief at the end. The introduction, the aim is to maximize ball contact, introduce the session theme. Everybody has a ball each. Should be a small part of the session. If it's an hour and 30-minute session, it's 10 minutes or so at the beginning. The main activity is a continuation of the intro. It's a focus on the theme and incorporating pressure and repetition. So players are now using the techniques that they have learned, and they're using it with pressure. The condition game, this is as close to the real game as possible. It's directional, it's to goal, there are targets, there are zones, using conditions to increase the strain on players' decision-making. You may have been at fields and seen, say, 4 mini nets, like the 4-goal game, or you have to make 5 passes in a zone and break out. So using incentives to bring out the themes of the session. Usually, this is probably the bit you see most. You arrive to pick your child up and they're playing the scrimmage or the match at the end. It's small-sided with FIFA rules. The benefits of small-sided they're very clear. Lots of touches, lots of repetition. It's great for fitness because there's a bigger distance to cover. It is allows players to make different types of tactical decisions because there are less players. There is a place for 5v5s and 6v6s and 7v7s at practice as they get older. I think one thing to think of is if you are a parent coach and you are running these sessions and you're doing 7v7 at the end, and there is a player that touches the ball 3-4 times in half an hour, that's your trigger to do small-sided games. So we don't say no to larger sided, but the benefits of small sided are there to be seen. And again, just as a reminder, they're FIFA rules: corners, throw-ins, goal kicks. If it's 7v7, using the build-out line, teaching players the rules of the game that they're going to use at the weekend. And the final part of that is the debrief. So a check for understanding, review the daily theme, ask some questions of the players, and then the coach will set a homework assignment. The homework assignment will be something like watch a YouTube video from our YouTube library, or try the skill that we've learned today. Let's see if we can do it first thing at the next practice. And then very briefly, some don'ts. We avoid laps. So no laps for fitness, no laps for punishment. Fitness will come through the intensity of practice. No lines. There will be occasions where there are, say, 1 or 2 people resting on the side of the field and ready to come in and play, but we want to avoid large, long lines of shooting and dribbling. Again, we want the activities to be player-centered, so players get a chance to make lots of different decisions. And again, they're there to play, they're not there to stand in line. Lectures. So unlike what I'm doing now, but long-winded explanations and avoiding those, players come in, this is what we're working on, let's play. And then we use the word activity in terms of drills. And activity is, again, an opportunity for players to experience game-like moments. A drill is more, I'll pass to you, you pass to me, and we repeat that. Yes, technique can be improved, but it's the same weight of pass, it's the same direction of pass, it's the same first touch. There's no pressure or challenge that would relate to the game. This is a big one for me. So results over development. It should always be development. People say they care about development and then they start losing. The aim is that your coach, the trainer that you will have, will come up with a plan for the season. They'll determine where the team is at now and then decide where they want to be. And that will be the crux of forming the plan. So having developmental goals in mind, knowing that if that is the case and we follow that path, the results will take care of themselves. Some things for game day. So I know my colleagues presented this to the parent coaches, but just to share with the parent body as a whole, player rotations, giving players the opportunity to try different positions. Now, this doesn't mean they play as a number 2 as a right back and a number 6 midfielder and then a number 10 all in the same game. But the general gist is that they get to experience the different moments of the game. So attacking, defending, attacking transition, defensive transition. So playing as a number 3, a left back, and then maybe in the second half playing as a number 11, a left midfielder. So giving players a chance to experience those moments. I think Chuck was clear, like referee interactions, that they don't need to happen. Risk versus reward. We want risk takers. We want players to emulate what they see when they watch professional soccer, to get the ball at their feet and be brave and know that if they make mistakes, that's fine. We encourage that. When I have been at games myself and a player has the ball in their own box and they play across, everybody shouts, "No, not across the goal, don't do that." And that's at risk, but if that risk pays off, there's the opportunity to progress up the field and score. So encouraging risk-taking. Competition. From a practice perspective, we want competition to exist at all times. So scorekeeping, celebrating those that do well. But from a game perspective, it's being in the right flight, not If you lose every game, you're in the wrong flight. If you win every game, you're in the wrong flight. So the appropriate level of challenge. Playing time, we believe 50% over the course of a season. So it's not necessarily 50% every game, but 50% over the course of the season. And players, irrespective of their ability level, should get to play in all different moments of the game. It's not, oh, Jack, you have struggled in recent weeks, so you don't get to play the last 10 minutes because we want to win this game. Every player should get an opportunity at every moment of the game. Again, development in mind over results. And then parents, I think Chuck touched upon this, but parents, you're the biggest driving force in your child's life. And the best thing you can do is do what you do best. Cheer them on, support them, provide positive reinforcement to them. But when they're on the field, give them the chance to make those mistakes. You probably see maybe even 3 or 4 times they make the wrong decision. They will learn from those mistakes. But as soon as we start asking them to do things that we want during the game, all of a sudden they're trying to please you, the coach, and other teammates. The game day is a stressful experience for the players. So again, just do what you do best, provide encouragement and support to the players. And then just one final bit. By the end of the second week, you will have received an introduction email from your trainer. Some of you may have done that already. Others, don't worry, it'll be on its way. In 2 weeks' time, you'll also receive a seasonal development plan. So as we spoke before, the 10 to 12 weeks, this is what we're going to be working on. This is where we're at. This is where we want to be at. You will receive that. On a weekly basis, you'll receive an update. The update will contain the previous week's practice, what we're going to work on next week. If the trainer was at your game, they will provide some feedback on how the game went, and then just any pertinent information that might be useful to you as parents. At the end of the season, you will receive a player evaluation, just positive feedback that the player has attained, and then anything that they can do to improve and work on in the off season. So,
hey Jack, question. The
Yeah.
introductory emails and the season development plan, that's going to the coaches, correct?
correct, yes. The parent coach will receive it, and then it's their responsibility is to pass it on to the parent body. So it can be forwarded via email, or if you discuss with the trainer for your team, they can perhaps forward it. If you're in their Team Snap, they can forward it via Team Snap. But yes, yeah, it goes to the parent coach initially.
Thanks.
So I'm going to unshare my screen. I can take some questions on Red Bull stuff. If there are any questions with regards to some of the more nuanced, like Piscataway questions, we can direct those to Chuck. I see a hand up. Taj Mom Test, go ahead.
Yeah, she's
So a little awkward. I put my question in the chat. I just wanted
I'm
to
sorry.
alert that. Yep.
Let me have a look.
she was asking, her son is 8 years old and wanted to know if there was something that she can have him do on a weekly basis to practice outside of practices, especially to on terms of conditioning.
I think for me, and just like my experience of just coaching and working with young players over the years, the simple thing is just get out there and play with your friends, play different sports. I'm not an expert by any means in strength and conditioning, but I have some knowledge of like child development, and I think playing, especially in playing soccer, continuously playing develops the muscles and the balance and the coordination needed to to play the game. So I think my biggest piece of advice is just involve them in either as much organized sport or just things with friends and family. Just anything that is physical will build that. But for a young age, again, I'm not a strength and conditioning expert, but I recommend just lots of playing time in a variety of sports.
Okay, I could definitely do that. He seems to be, excuse me, very sore, and I have a bit of an athletic past, and I kind of know that that's the muscles coming in, and I wonder if we need to focus on that, but I'll just allow it to be fun for him at this point, and it'll just develop naturally. But I also had another concern, which I'm not sure if this is the right time to ask, but the Red Bull organization, because you play so much, I'd like to get your feedback on. It's not so much a question as from the first, I forget how to call it, but the first tournament we had, even at the end of the school year earlier this summer, my son and some of the other players, well, my son told me that they heard another team referring to them in a negative way, as though the other team was, superior, without being too negative. I don't want to say exactly what my son said. So I try to steer him away from that talk and encourage him to ignore that. But I think that list of don'ts kind of speaks to that. But what is, because, I'm a mom and he's my only boy, and my instinct is to be protective, but yeah, I'm just not sure how to coach him properly and to be consistent with whatever the organization may, protect.
I think, obviously, I don't speak from a Piscataway perspective. I think that sounds like it is something that happened during the season. I think if it's something that is serious, there is channels that the club can direct you in terms of a reporting process. But I think anything that's like related in that sense is probably a club thing to discuss. I mean, Chuck, I don't know if you have any input on this.
Yeah, this kind of falls under if something that another team, an opponent does, especially if it's the coach or the players, even the other parents, if something bad happens, feel free to get that feedback to our coach, your coach, so that your coach can feed that back to one of the board members, specifically Jeff, who are our travel VPs, and then they can reach out to the other club to say, hey, just letting you know that your team, your parents, your players were doing this at a game that we were part of, and hopefully you can correct this action in the future, other club. So if there's something beyond just a single name call, if it's consistent, let's say, or worse, then get that information back up to your coach if he or she is unaware of it, so that they can provide that feedback to us in the club, so that we can actually try to do something about it. And again, it may not be able to correct it right there on the spot, but if we know about it, then we can behind the scenes reach out to the other club and say, hey, last Sunday, it's now Monday or Tuesday. Hey, last Sunday, we were at a game with your team and your team didn't act appropriate. They were unprofessional. There was no sportsmanship. And, we don't really appreciate that. And hopefully you, the club president or the club, board member, can reach out to that team or that coach and remind them that, hey, this is youth sports. We're here for player development.
Chuck, just to follow on that 1 second. And also I think what Tajman might be referring to is something with the kids that are within our own club on different teams. And something that we want, our coaches to reinforce is that we're one club, we're Piscataway, we're not this team or that team. I think what tends to happen is sometimes the kids get to school, they're in class together, and things get said outside of the soccer program, when they're not on the soccer field. And then it comes back onto the field from school. So, I would reiterate to Taj that, we're all one team, and eventually we all want to be on, the high school team together, or as they get older, these teams all combine and they all start playing together anyway. So, eventually we're all one team anyway. And right now we're all Piscataway Soccer Club. We're one club. We just compete on different teams at the moment. So that's something that we're going to reinforce with our coaches, to reinforce with the players. Obviously we can't control things that are said outside of our presence, but if it is said in front of the coaches, we're going to make sure that they address it. So I hope that clears that up.
Thanks, Jeff.
Does anybody have any other questions? And if not, we can allow you to enjoy your holiday weekend. And
hi, I have one question. So my son, he plays for Bayern Munich team. So there will be matches both on Saturday and Sunday, or either one?
I think this is probably a club related question, but
yeah, I'll take it, Jack. I'll take it.
Yeah.
So the standard setup for the Mid New Jersey League, which the Bayern team plays in, is on Sundays. That doesn't mean that there can't be a game on a Saturday throughout the season, but most of the games will probably be on Sundays.
Okay.
As far as the tournament goes, they're going to be in the tournament on the 9th and 10th. They'll have 2 games each day in the tournament, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday.
Got it. So
Okay.
only because it's a tournament, they are having it like a practice match, or it's like the real tournament?
Yeah, it's a real game, but I mean it's a warm-up tournament, so it's their it's for clubs to get their teams out there and get them up against other opponents and start working on stuff and start seeing what you got, right? See what the kids can do, let them have some fun, and then the coaches can kind of figure out what they need to work on. To Jack's point earlier, they're going to start developing a plan for the team to work on for the season. So that's when they get to see it. They get 4 games to see it in the tournament. So it's a good start.
Okay, understood. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Excuse me. Hi.
Hello.
How many girls play in the games? Because in my group there's just 5 or 4.
Which team are you on? Courage. So you actually have 8 girls on the team currently. Maybe they're on vacation still. Maybe they're down the beach. Maybe they're doing something, or they're busy, but hopefully they should start coming. So you should have 8 at practice pretty soon.
And then Baron, if you have a question.
Excuse me. Are we gonna have 2 games in one day?
You will for the tournament. You'll have 2 games Saturday and 2 games on Sunday.
Hi.
Go ahead, Baron.
Hi,
Go ahead,
this is Birun, the volunteer coach from this team. My question was for the tournament on September 9th and 10th. Will there be presence of Red Bull team? I mean, trainers?
I'm sorry, could you go ahead, Chuck, if you can answer that?
So we've invited the trainers to come. If they're available, they will be there, but they don't have to be. There will, however, on Sunday, we are going to have the Red Bulls street team, freestyle team come out around 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. They'll be near the headquarters tent, and that's going to be something to see, because you'll see them do things with a soccer ball that I certainly cannot do. So it'll be fun to watch them juggle.
Okay, thanks.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
My son's on the leads, and I was just wondering, since there wasn't enough teams to match for them to have a tournament, will that be the case every time there's a tournament, or is that just for this tournament?
No, it depends on who registers for the tournament and so on and so forth. They also are going to have a kind of a tournament festival at the end of their season. Suburban League has a festival for that age group at the end of the season. And we'll also look to see if there's possibly another tournament that they can participate in, maybe not in the fall, but maybe in the spring. It's just for our tournament, if we put some of the teams in and there's not the correct level of competition, it's really not a great experience for especially for teams that haven't played together before. If they get out there, they get very discouraged pretty quick, and you start off on the wrong foot. So we're kind of protective of them in that regard. So that's kind of the reasoning behind it. If the competition allows, we certainly would want them to play in our tournament, but we try to find appropriate competition for them to start, especially in the beginning of the season.
Thank you.
I'll answer a question from the chat. I know, Rajiv, you have your hand up, but I can answer your question from the chat. And the question is, are there any supplemental training in addition to the training that they get from their coach? I think Jeff and Chuck can answer in terms of the more program related stuff from Red Bull, and it's just travel, and there is the rec developmental session throughout the week, correct?
Correct. Obviously there's schools out camps that Red Bull's going to be running whenever the kids aren't in school. So be on the lookout for that. We'll definitely post when that happens. But additionally, I believe Chuck will correct me if I'm wrong, but after the tournament on Fridays, we also have like a ball mastery class that's going to start along with our keeper training. So we haven't put the signups out for that yet, but that's also something that a lot of the kids, especially younger age groups, enjoy, because they get to learn all kinds of fancy tricks like the Red Bulls freestyle team is going to be doing at the tournament. But work on their footwork and all kinds of stuff like that. So that's in addition to their weekly practices. That's on Friday nights, and we're going to get some information about that out shortly. Chuck, you want to follow on that?
No, you said exactly everything that I was going to say.
Great.
We'll be working with the coaches specifically for the keeper training, but stay tuned, more to come.
We'll just take a couple more. Diego, you have your hand raised. Feel free to jump in.
Hello, how you doing? I just have a quick question about like the Red Bulls are gonna do any support on the coaches, on the volunteers coaches. Is there any tactic support that they gonna get or something?
So for the parent coach, that if you are a parent coach yourself and you have one of our trainers with you, there will, for those that do, there will be support in that sense of the coaches, an extension of us in terms of educating. There is the possibility, maybe as the season progresses, or even for next season, where we do a coaches clinic. So obviously these first couple of meetings are to introduce our methodology and just set you guys up for the season. But I think moving forward, there can be a meeting where we go through some more intricate topics. I think when I send the brief back notes to this meeting, I can include the red print, and there are some things about formations and tactics in that. So to answer your question directly, there is nothing exactly, but there are a bunch of resources that can be used for that. No worries. And then, Buran, did you have a second question, or is your hand still up?
No, I'm done. I'm sorry.
No worries. Okay, so I think that's about. Go ahead.
I do have a question. I know this is probably for the practices and the game days. What colors are they supposed to be wearing for like the game days and practice times with the jerseys that we had purchased?
I can,
So Jack, I'll take that. Sorry.
sure.
Yeah. So for the practices during the week, they can pretty much, unless the coach tells them specifically what to wear, they can just wear their tryout T-shirt would be a good start. That we gave all the kids T-shirts at tryouts.
Okay,
Some
great
of the,
one.
yep. Some of the kids wear that, but they can certainly wear any other T-shirts. I wouldn't put them in their game jerseys for practice because you want to keep them nice and clean for the games. So if you got your uniforms already, you get the gold and the gray jerseys. Those will be reserved for the weekend games.
Okay.
And the coaches will let you know on Team Snap. Usually they tell you, or wear gray, this Sunday. But always, it's a very good point. For all games, always send both jerseys with your child. So whatever one they're wearing, put the other one in their bag or have it with them.
Got it.
Because sometimes you show up to a field and what do you know? The other team's wearing yellow and somebody has to switch. And,
Right.
what happens, they throw on the other color and we're good to go. So.
Okay, great. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
You're welcome.
Jade, you had a question?
Yeah,
So we'll just go with Jade and then we'll swing back to you.
Yeah, I know we got an email about practice uniforms. Did you guys want to mention that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. So we sent out the registration form. My brain's being jumbled, but the Excel sheet to fill out for the order form. So if a team wants to do it, it has to be the whole team, not just one player on the team. So the parents get together and you talk about it and you say, hey, do you want to spend a little bit of extra money and get a practice kit for the team? Everybody says yes. Then you can submit the order. It's a gold practice T-shirt with the club logo. And then you can order a hoodie sweatshirt as well for all the players that has their name and number on the back and the club logo on the front. Trying to get the visual from the vendor to send out to everybody so they can see what it looks like. But that's basically just the practice kit. And as it gets cold in the fall, especially, the kids start showing up to practice with their sweatshirts and stuff like that. So we definitely encourage the teams to do it. But obviously, if people don't want to do it, they certainly don't have to. You could also choose to just do one or the other. If you want to just do the T-shirt for your team, that's fine, or just do the sweatshirt for your team, that's fine. So that's been sent out, but you can start having those conversations soon because I think they want the orders in by the 9th. So by September 9th, if you can get on your team Snapchats, maybe take a vote or talk about it at a practice, before practice, after practice, and get those orders in ASAP. But thank you for mentioning that, Jade.
Yep, thank you. Just some
Thanks.
Thanks.
Yep.
I have one more question. Oh, sorry.
Sure.
So sorry. Go ahead.
Just made a comment that reminded me. Taj was on a previous team, and there are some mud stains that just will not come out. Is there any recommendation on how we get that out? I don't want to scrub at it too much because it seems like a delicate fabric, or are those just badges and don't worry about it?
I got nothing on that. I'm going to defer to anyone who battles with laundry to get those out.
I don't have children, so I'm going to abstain from this question as well.
I think there's like
Uh-huh.
like the what is it called? There's like a spray you can spray on it that before you wash it. Help me out, somebody.
Yeah,
I don't know what it's called.
I do. And actually on his other uniform, it was mostly the shorts that got it, I guess, from the
Right.
running and being in the mud.
Yep.
And these are black, so hopefully not so bad, but I was just curious if anyone had suggestions. Thank you.
You could
no worries.
also, sorry to jump in, but just another thought. You could get an extra pair of shorts. If the shorts are going to get really worn, or you think, you want the kids to wear them for practice as well, you could always get an extra pair in the kit. That's what we did for Joey. Just a thought.
It's also a badge of
Yeah. And I think Chinisa had another question.
Yes, I was wanting to see if someone could send me the volunteer sheet again I don't think I received that in the email.
Which team are you with?
Oh, that's with the Munich, I think, something like that.
Bayern Munich. Yep, I'll have Coach Jay send it again through the chat on the Team Snap. Are you on the Team Snap?
I am.
Yep. Look for that in the chat message.
That message. All right, thank you so much.
You got it.
And I'm sorry, I don't want to prolong it, but I did a sign up through some sign up app. I just want to make sure that's registered. It shows that I am signed up for my volunteering time. Okay.
Yep, that's Sign Up Genius. Trust me, if you didn't do it, they'll be asking. So they'll be looking for you, but they'll confirm with everybody. So yep.
Okay, I'd like to thank everyone for jumping on the call. I see lots of people are offering their stain removing tips, which is fantastic. So when I send the brief back
Awesome.
notes, I'll include the chat notes as well. So for those that are looking for some tips, that'll be in there as well. But again, I'd like to thank everybody for jumping on. It's been a Friday night and a holiday weekend, and I know everybody is probably super busy. So thank you again, and looking forward to bumping into a lot of you like throughout the season, and thank you to the club for having us this evening.
Thanks, everybody. Hi,
Thanks,
Joey.
guys.
Thanks, guys.
Go ahead. What? You didn't say hi.
I said hi.
Yeah, but it was you were muted. You were muted.
I was.
Yeah. Now you're louding.
Hi.
What's up, buddy?
I'm doing good.
You better be.
Yeah, I am.
Show him